If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, man. We've reached the end of the journey with the old Spectrum guitar that belongs to my nephew, used to be his father's. You might remember that the old Spectrum guitar came in the shop looking a little something like this. So my nephew reached out a couple weeks ago and he said, hey, I've got a couple of my father's guitars. This is one of them. This is the one we're going to talk about today. It has kind of a Fenderish style headstock, not a bad looking headstock. It does have two metal string trees on it, the standard kind, and we've got some string trees around the shop. Now my nephew didn't ask me to upgrade the guitar. He just asked me for a little bit of that Uncle Ted TLC, baby, so we can give that guitar that for sure. It does have closed back tuners. Guys, I've tuned the guitar up. I've played it just very briefly off camera. The tuners seem to be holding up pretty well so far. We won't know that until we do more work on that. I don't know the ratio yet. There's not a lot of slack in them, so we got that going for us. So that's the headstock, the tuners, and the string trees. That appears to be a straight up plastic nut, just given the way it's cut and the shavings on either side of the string. And the nut also hangs over a little bit on the bass side. It doesn't on the treble side. So we could potentially be putting a new nut in that guitar. But truthfully, guys, if we can get that plastic nut to work, we're going to rock that all day long. It appears to be a maple neck. I couldn't find a whole lot of specs about these guitars. There's a few dents and dings on the back of the neck. That appears to be a rosewood fingerboard. The frets are not by any measure really scratchy. They are just really dirty and kind of tarnished a little bit. Now I have tuned the guitar up and I did play every note up the fretboard. And once we got past fret 12, we had several frets that were out of sync. So there is some leveling work in our future. There's some crowning work in our future and some polishing. And if you hang on the channel, you know I love a good guitar neck video, Jack. Yeah, guys, I really do. Now the frets themselves, they're not super sharp. There's nobody getting band-aids out or anything like that. But they do need to be dealt with, and we will be dealing with the frets. So we've got some fret work to do for sure. Again, we'll assess the nut. We may replace those string trees, and we will continue to assess the tuners. By way of the body, there are two strap buttons. They are both loosey-goosey jacks, so we will be working on those. By way of electronics, it appears that we have three single coil pickups. We've got one volume and double the tone, and we do have a 5-way switch. Now, one of the things about the pick guard that does have a pretty good bubble in it right here, and I don't know what's causing that hump. I just know that I can't push the pick guard down, so it could be that we've got something protruding that. It could be that it's just warped over time, and if so, we'll have to figure out how to flatten that out. The output jack looks to be all right. We're not going to know until we throw a guitar cord in there in just a minute. The saddles are, yeah, about half mass. And there's a whole lot of saddle screws sticking up here. So if we can get away with it, I'll put some shorter saddle screws in there. I've got some of those laying around the shop. Other than that, it needs to be cleaned and, just sort of taken care of. All right, well, the first thing I've noticed is that output jack is a loosey-goosey, baby. Look at that movement right there. So we will either tighten that up or maybe we'll replace it with, oh, I don't know, maybe a pure tone output jack. So we've got nothing in the middle and the neck together. All right, so we have electronics everywhere but the second position. Other than the neck having some dents and dings on it, the body does have some dents and dings in it. I don't see any, at least in this lighting, much by way of cracks around the neck pocket. We do, however, have some of this love right here, a couple of big chunks out of the bottom of that guitar, and we do know how to get some black CA glue. Oh, okay. So we've got one here, pretty good size right here and right here. So the kind of two on this side and one on this side. Well, I'm going to call that two, actually, one on either side. Looks like somebody's dropped us a time or two. And And beside that, we just have your basic wear and tear on the back of a used electric guitar, everything you'd expect that you would see. So we do have some body work that we can do. This guitar needs to be cleaned. It needs to be set up. Yeah, guys, just an old used guitar in need of lots and lots of love. So we have copacetically finished our project. I've got it all set up, ready to rock and roll for my nephew in the honor of his father. Well, the jury's still out exactly what kind of guitar this is. We know it's a Spectrum Strat model. We don't know if it was made in Japan. We don't know if it was made in Korea, or we don't know if it was made in China. I've heard all of that, and the Googler says Japan or Korea. However, I'm not opposed to it being a Chinese-made guitar by any stretch of the imagination, guys. I just can't tell you. There's not a lick of serial number or indicator on this guitar that would tell us one way or the other. Well, what do we do to the old Spectrum guitar? Well, we'll start up here at the headstock. So up here on the headstock, you've got your basic string trees, string retainers, you understand, and the old stock tuners that came with the guitar. Yeah, guys, my heart for this project was to not modify this guitar. I wanted to keep it stock in honor of my brother-in-law, Steve, my nephew's father, who's passed. And so we did copacetically keep those old string trees. We did keep those tuners. I've been playing the guitar not for days and days, but for hours and hours after final setup. And those tuners are doing the job pretty well. I think I could live with that, particularly keeping it stock as a family keepsake, you know, just the sentimental value of Dad's old guitar. Yeah, man, I think so. Now, I did have to replace that nut. And if you hang out and you saw the journeys, you know why. One, it had a plastic nut on it. I did copacetically file, or uncopacetically file, that treble E string slot too low. Now, I could have filled it with some baking soda, some super glue, or some other home remedies that you can find out here on the tubes. However, my friend, I decided I'd put a little Guyker bone nut in there. Uncle Ted's contribution to the project, my friend. So I did copacetically do that. We did need to do some fret work to the guitar. It had several high frets, so I just leveled all the frets, and after leveling them, I did crown them, and after crowning them, I did polish them. And I think those old frets look pretty good, Jack. I think they got some years of life left in them. I did copacetically clean and condition that fingerboard, and I took a little bit of 2500 to the back of that neck. It still has a few dents and dings and signs of life, if you understand what I'm saying to you. And the frets feel pretty good overall. I think it's a nice plain guitar. The neck feels really good. Hey, CD, man, I'm interested to hear about your Spectrum when you get it all set up copacetic-like, my friend. So there's a couple more things we could have done to the neck, but again, guys, I'm not interested in taking out dents and dings and cosmetics. I was really just trying to get this to be as a fine, plain machine as I could get it, guys. Keywords, as I could get it. On the back of the guitar, not much to write home about. We've got a basic neck plate. We've got your basic trim cover. We've got your basic strap buttons. I did have to put some wood glue and some dowels in the strap lock button holes to get those taut. On the body, we had several dents and dings, particularly down here at the bottom. On both sides of the guitar body, we had massive chips down to wood here. There were 3 cracks in the wood that separates the neck from the cavity. So we did copacetically have to drill some holes. We did copacetically have to put some tight bond and some dowels in there, Jack, and we did all that. Thanks to Chris over at BCG 5150 for all his help, encouragement, and constant edification, along with John over Smoke Eater Guitars, my dear brother Brant at Tone Jaeger. Yeah, those guys got a lot of texts and calls and videos from me about this project and every other project I've been on. Yeah, guys, community is a really good thing, man. 2 heads are always better than 1, Jack, yeah. So electronics, that's all stock. The only thing that we had to change on the guitar was the pick guard. The original pick guard had a warp in it. I did try to flatten that with an iron. I'm not sure that was my best move, although creative for sure. It didn't copacetically work. So this scratch plate pick guard is actually from my nephew's Squier Strat that he brought a while back. He brought over a stickered up Squier Strat, and when I say it was stickered up, Jack, it was stickered up. Take a look at it. Yeah, man, there it is. And so this pickguard was covered with stickers, but it was his. So as he and I discussed the final stages of the project, I was telling him about the warped pickguard. He asked me if we could replace it, and I said, you know, I've got that old pickguard that was on your guitar. I could take all those stickers off of it, I could clean it up and put it on here. So I thought, just for sentimental reasons, it was really cool to me that there'd be a little bit of Dad, a little bit of the son in here, and a little bit of Uncle Ted up here with that Guyker bone nut. Yeah, Jack. And of course, my expert setup. Oh, guys, I love hanging out with y'all, man. You can tell, I think, that the pickguard and the pups and the knobs are slightly off color. They're not all this exactly the same shade of white. And my nephew and I thought that that gave the guitar a little bit of what we're going to call character, Jack. So, man, it's been a privilege for me to work on this guitar, to turn it into a rock and roll machine. Yeah, man, it's really been a fun project for me, just the sentimentality of it. And I was able to think about my nephew and my brother-in-law quite a bit, and really our whole family. And as I worked on the guitar, I was able to pray for them, and just, yeah, man, that's just what I do when I work on guitars. Well, this has been quite the project. It has been a labor of love for sure, and I appreciate those of you who've been on the journey with me. I think at the end of the day, man, I don't have any idea how much this guitar would cost new in today's market. I've seen these Spectrum Strats on my local marketplace for sub $100, guys. I don't know that they're growing on trees or they're being given away, but there's a lot of availability and they're pretty reasonably priced. This guitar didn't fight me when I set it up. It didn't cause me any trouble at all. I had a good time working on the guitar, and I appreciate you guys being on the journey with me. So at the end of the day, man, this old Spectrum used guitar, guys, look, man, don't be afraid to buy an off-brand guitar. There's nothing wrong with an off-brand guitar. There's nothing wrong with an off-brand old beat-up guitar. All that matters in guitar playing, and I say this in almost all of my videos, everything about guitar playing is player preference. So man, if you've got a guitar and you buy it used on the marketplace, let's call it $50. You put some parts in it, you paint it the way you want to paint it, or you sand the back of the neck the way you like your necks to feel, Jack. You get your frets where you like them, your action where you like it. Man, look, here's the deal, guys. If a guitar feels good in your hands and it sounds good to your old rock and roll ears, and when you see the guitar, you say, "Hey, Jack, let's hang out and spend some quality time together." Guys, that's a great guitar, man. It doesn't matter what name is on the headstock. And it sure don't matter what anybody else thinks, Jack. You do you, baby. You do you. Guys, let me tell you a secret. Lean in real close here, Jack. You know what the best guitar on the planet is? It's the one you play, Jack. That's it. That's all that matters. Do you have a guitar that when you pick it up and you play it, you love the way it feels, you love the way it sounds to you, and you like the way it looks enough where when you walk in a room, you can't help but feel of it, Jack? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what makes a quality instrument. Well, guys, it's been quite the adventure, quite the journey with the old Spectrum guitar, man. Well, hey, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, and joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Well, guys, there ain't nothing left to do now but check out some tone. Walter. I'm coming for you, Walter. Walter's next, guys. Pray for me.